Hello everyone, here's the ultimate guide on how to play Raider in Elden Ring Night Rain. In my opinion, Raider's pretty overpowered. He can tank bosses at their face and then punch them back in it, dealing massive amounts of posture damage that'll knock down most bosses that help support your team by allowing them to get their hits in, and he's also a lot of fun to play, so he'll be covering the best weapons, relics, and everything that you need to know in order to be a very powerful Raider. So the first thing I'll be starting off with is his combos, and he's got quite a few unique ones for it. So his charging right trigger here, or R2 button, will do an attack there that you can charge up, and it does a ton of posture damage as well. You can also follow this up with a few more attacks as well. I would recommend always having colossal weapons and doing the jump attacks with two of them. So L1 there, you can see massive amounts of damage, and it does so much posture damage. Now another thing, use your weapon skills that buff up your damage since you're not going to be using FP, but that's the L1 combo there, just using both of the weapons. He's also got the Retaliate, which you can press Y or triangle plus the left trigger, and that's going to return damage to the enemy. So it'll protect you, so you reduce your damage. This is another combo you can go with, just the right one trigger, R1 trigger, or the right bumper attack. You just spam that and you can do an attack. That's pretty powerful. This is the right trigger, holding it down and continually pressing right trigger while one-handing a weapon or two-handing a weapon. This is pretty powerful as well because you can also block with a weapon if you're going to be using it that way, because all weapons have 100% block. But honestly, the bread and butter of his kit is the Retaliate there. Use this when you're low on stamina because it'll allow you to regenerate your stamina, and it can sometimes knock down the boss and then get yourself a critical hit in. Now, another big component of his kit is the Totem Stella here. So you can use this. You get 5 whole seconds of being invulnerable to damage, which is massive if you're able to time this well. And the best part about this is you can climb back up on it, you get extra damage while you're standing around it, and then there's some relics that actually can give you extra health whenever you're attacking enemies near your totem as well. So use this often. It can also be used to revive your teammates, but the best weapons here, I would say, is Axe of Godfrey, obviously one of the most powerful weapons in the game. This has the Regal Roar, which does a lot of damage, and it enhances your charge attacks. It also has a unique moveset, which I'll throw off in a moment. The Giant's Crusher, one of the coolest looking weapons, and it's just plain strong. I would recommend, if you're going against a holy damage boss, to use the Staff of the Avatar. It has the Erdtree Slam, which you can do a pretty large area of effect. The Prelate's Infernal Crozier is also a really great one, with the Prelate's Charge doing a lot of fire damage. And Giza's Wheel, the Pizza Cutter, can deal bleed damage. Now, the Prelate's Charge here is really good against humanoid-type bosses because the stagger damage from that's incredible, and it leaves fire behind. Now, this Erdtree Slam attack that you can do with this is great against any of the bosses weak to holy. And I'll admit, Giza's Wheel is good, but it does get you into some situations where people are running, and you get attacked often while using that. And the Godfrey's Axe here, having its unique moveset, you can do a charge R2 attack there, and he'll do a slam and then follow up with all these different attacks. This is probably the best weapon in the game for Raider. Now for relics, I like this one here that increases the skill damage whenever you use your abilities. I have holy damage there for holy bosses, and this one, partial health restoration on post-damage attacks, is extremely useful. Highly recommend using that one at all times. Health regeneration on colossal weapons is also good. Increase max stamina, or anything that's going to increase your ultimate arch gauge and strength. Now, for day one, whenever you're playing as Raider, obviously go and try to get as many runes as possible early. Hit up any of the camps as well. Now, your duty is to keep your team alive, because his dual great colossal weapons here can revive people really easily. Unfortunately, my teammate kept going down in the storm, but no man left behind, right? So even if they keep going down, that's what we're here for. We got a massive health pool, so we can keep reviving them and keep the fight going. When it comes to boss fights, any type of mini bosses like this, I would recommend trying to grab the aggro as much as possible, because you can see there, if your healers or if your mages go down, not a good time, but you can obviously revive them pretty quickly. So get in there and punch their face, try to break the posture. Generating a Holy Ground at low HP is actually a really good upgrade to get. Anything that's going to increase your overall survivability, so reducing the physical damage you take, anything that gives you health restoration and stamina restoration are going to be the best choices for upgrades to get. But you can see here, going against bosses, jump attacks and just getting in their face and tanking them is going to be our best choice. Using the Retaliate as often as possible, and if you can get a relic that's going to increase the amount of times you can do that, it's going to be great as well. Also, don't be afraid to use Totem Stella. It's good for reviving, as I mentioned earlier, but it only does 1 bar whenever you summon it in, and a lot of the times my teammates find themselves running off of it. So, yes, Totem Stella is great for reviving, but don't be afraid to use it more often in a fight if you just want to get damaging, because it can stagger bosses really well too. His whole kit is around staggering, so bosses like the Godskin Apostle go down really quickly because they have a bit of a weaker poise, and you can literally just bully them. And then some other bosses are really weak to your attacks, so this is just a Sentient Pest raid, but When it comes to like Tree Sentinels, they're aggressive, but they like to dance around a lot. If you're able to get in their face and face tank, that's going to be the most ideal thing. And then you can use a Retaliate whenever they come rushing at you like that to be able to knock them off their stance. Any type of boss that's going to be quick on your feet is going to be a little bit harder for you to fight as Raider. So if you're able to have teammates that get the reduced aggro, that's going to be good. Or you can just solo boss it yourself, which is totally possible. Also, Rotten Great Axe, another great weapon to look for. Anything with Scarlet Rot, Poison, or the element the boss is weak to are going to be great. You can see here, we can actually stagger bosses out to some of their most powerful movesets as well. So for the Fel Omen attack here, he actually stopped doing one of his attacks there because I was able to go in and posture break. And you can see, he can posture break so often. That's crazy. And we also have the Scarlet Rot applied on the boss there because of our weapon having a huge amount of build-up for it. But even if you got a boss staggered down like that, you can just literally use your Retaliate anyways. Another boss that's really good to go for is the Guardian Golem. You can just shred them, even at like level 6 here. Obviously, that's a little bit higher, but yeah, you can solo these bosses really easily if you need to, while your team's off somewhere else. Any type of duo boss, try to hit both enemies if you can at the same time. You can see there, the hammers have a huge area of effect. So does Totem Stella. So use that to your advantage in Everjail fights like that, where you can knock down a bunch of enemies at one time and deal tons of damage to them and also set your team up for success. Now, any boss, when it has its aggro on you, try to eat their attacks sometimes to be able to power up your Retaliate, because this will allow you to deal back even further damage. So if they're winding up for an attack, start using Retaliate. It's really useful for being able to stagger bosses down like that. Crazy. You can see there, we had the Tree Sentinel literally land on me, and yeah, I didn't take any damage from that, and we were able to break his posture. Now, when it comes to any type of mini bosses before the bosses, I would recommend going in and using jump attacks as much as possible. Jump attacks are going to be a really useful staple, and then once you run out of stamina, you can use your Retaliate to recover. You can use R1 combos as well if you want to use a little bit less of your stamina, because you do run out of it really quickly, but that's the price you pay for doing massive amounts of damage. I find that the Fel Omen fights are obviously difficult for some, but Guardian has a really good time with it because of the amount of options he has to shut down Morgott there. You can see he was going around with his attacks. I used Totem Stella, and we were literally able to burst down his health bar from half. It is insane how much damage you got. All resistance is up is good, but I really like anything that triggers on sprint, because you're going to sprint often. You're going to see here, especially if you're trying to get into better positioning on a boss. You can also use a Retaliate ability there. Even if the boss at range and you know you're going to hit by attack, even if you're not going to land the shot, you can just reduce the damage you'll be taking. For Gladius, this is honestly one of the easiest bosses in the game if you're playing as Raider, because he can stagger both of all the dogs at once, especially with a holy based weapon that increases the amount of stagger that you're going to be doing on the boss, and you can just literally tear them apart. Also, using Totem Stella will stun any boss really, and then you can jump off of doing your jump attacks. You're not always safe on top of Totem Stella, but it's better than nothing, and the amount of extra times you can get hits in is just super useful, because you can wait out an attack and then follow it up with a Retaliate right after, especially if you have a cooldown reduction on your Retaliate from a relic. It's very powerful. So that was the overpowered build or playthrough for Raider in Elden Ring Night Rain. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave in the comments. He is extremely powerful, and I think one of the strongest in the game, so hit the subscribe button below if you haven't before, and I'll see you all in the next video.